Hello, everyone. How are you today? It's a gorgeous day outside, so hopefully you had some time to take in the outdoors, and I thank you for spending the next approximately hour with me to learn about protecting your money. So I am from the Ontario Securities Commission. The organization is a government agency. We are responsible for regulating the capital markets in Ontario. A key part of our mandate is to provide protection to investors. And one of the best ways to provide protection is to ensure that you have good information so that you can make more informed financial decisions for yourself. I work for the investor office within the OSC. And the investor office really, we lead the OSC's efforts in investor outreach, um, research, education, and engagement. So what do we do really? We educate people. We have a wonderful website with a lot of great resources, which I will be talking about, getsmarteraboutmoney.ca. We also engage with people. And, when I do outreach, it's a two-way street because I'm out sharing information and I'm also taking information back. Because if you are concerned about a particular issue, you have questions, maybe it's something we can do on the policy side, maybe we need to develop a resource. We also do a lot of research, right? Because we need to understand what some of the challenges people face, what are some of the issues that they are faced with respect to managing their money. And that also gives us a lot of information. So lots that we do on all fronts at the investor office. But at the OSC, we're also a regulator, right? So a key part of what we do is protecting investors. And one of the ways we do that is by ensuring that we have the tools to deter those people who are taking advantage of investors. So we know that investment fraud is devastating. When you are defrauded, not only do you suffer a financial loss, it could also impact your quality of life. It can also have an impact on your physical, mental health, relationships with family. So all around, fraud is devastating. So as a regulator, we have a number of tools at our disposal under our belt that we can use to deter people from doing harm. We have a whistleblower program. If somebody knows that someone is doing something wrong within the industry, they can contact us. We also have other tools where we can ban someone from working in the industry for a period of life or for a period of time, or we can even kick them out of the industry for life. We also have settlements and other tools under our disposal. So really, there's a lot that we can do to deter people from harming investors. But we know that these fraudsters are out there and they're having a field day. So what we want to do is really deter them. What we also want to do is understand those challenges that people face. So I like to always talk a little bit about our research, because that will probably give you a little bit more insight as to what's happening right now in the Canadian landscape. If you have children, you have adult children, you might know that, they're not always thinking about their finances. So we did a survey where we asked younger Canadians, are you optimistic about your financial future? And a large majority said yes. But when we asked that same group if they were saving, we didn't get the same majority saying yes. So we know that there's a bit of a disconnect. And with that information, we know that if we want to work with this group, there are certain things that we need to do to get them engaged in saving. Similarly, we are talking to adults and we're saying, are you having that conversation with your parents about their finances? Are they talking to you about finances? Financial decisions at any age, it is challenging. Some of those decisions we may only need to make once in our lifetime. So these are not easy things to do. But as we age, we also know that not only we're getting older, but we may be faced with other issues like health issues, and that may also impact how we make our financial decisions. Well, I'll tell you what, COVID-19 has also thrown a spanner into the works, because really, this whole pandemic has even changed the way we do our daily stuff. So if you have parents who are used to going to the bank to pay bills, and right now they are being told that, you know what, they should stay home, they shouldn't be going out as frequently, it may impact the way they're handling their financial affairs. So we want to ensure that, adult children are talking to their parents, and their parents are talking to their adult children about their finances, because you want to ensure that there's continuum, that if someone needed to step in and help, that this is going to happen, that this there is assistance with respect to managing finances. And similarly, we then talk to retirees, how has your standard of living changed? What's different? So we look at all those things. And then we know, again, COVID-19, that during this period, people are watching their investments, they're watching the stock market, and they're seeing that it's a little more volatile, and they're thinking, oh my goodness, what's happening to my money? What's happening to my investments? So approximately 50% have seen an increased stress level due to market volatility. So about 50% have experienced increased stress, but about 25% of investors did not communicate with their advisor during this period. And I will say, if you're an investor and you're working with someone and you have increased stress level, this is a perfect time to reach out and talk to your advisor, because this is the person you're working with to help you manage your finances. So if you're not sure, pick up the phone, have a conversation with them. They are there to help you. All that to say, this is information that is going to help us, help people be more confident in making financial decisions. We want to make the information accessible, make it easier for younger adults to get started, and all that good stuff. And then we continually hear about fraud and people being concerned about defrauded. So what do we know about fraud? 1 in 25 Canadians report being a victim of investment fraud. 1 in 5 will be approached to take part in a fraudulent activity. But out of that 1 in 5, only 1 in 3 will ever report it. We also know that fraud is an underreported crime. I've been doing outreach for a number of years, and when I go out and I share information about fraud, people will sometimes approach me at the end of a presentation and tell me how they were a victim of a fraudulent scheme. And if I ask if they've reported it, many times the answer is no. And why is that? Because people are embarrassed. They don't want family and friends to know. And I will tell you, anyone can be the victim of a fraud. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. Fraudsters don't really care, who you are, your education level, your age, whatever. All they want to do is get access to your money. And what I will say is that COVID-19, during this period, what they're doing is using this current situation right now to prey on our fears, our insecurities, to try and get at our money. When COVID-19 really first came out, and I say came out, I mean, I think I heard that the first case in Canada was in January, but really a lot of action took place in March, where people were then told, you had to work from home, and we went in a lockdown and all that stuff. We saw a lot of different types of frauds. So we actually put out press releases together with the RCMP. There were warnings and alerts put out on Facebook, in the news, Twitter, all that good stuff. So what kind of COVID-19 related frauds are we seeing right now? There's that work from home scam. If you've lost your job or you're working reduced hours and you're looking for ways to earn or supplement income, fraudsters are taking advantage of that, right? They're contacting people and saying, we've got a job for you. And one of the scams is right now they're saying you can trade from home, trade in securities or derivatives. You don't need a license. We regulate people that work in the securities industry. So if anyone's providing you with investment advice or selling you investments, they need to be registered with the Securities Commission. So right away, you know that's a scam. And by the way, all these scams that I'm talking about, they have been around for a number of years. What the fraudsters are doing is just taking today's situation and applying it to the scam so that, you know what, it's a little bit more tailored and a little more targeted to prey on our concerns. The next one is warning about your finances. And I've gotten some of these where I've been contacted saying there's a problem with my investment account, there's a problem with my account, and all I need to do is click on a link because they need to get some information to straighten out that problem. Okay, you don't know who's sending you that link, you don't know who's sending you that email or text, so just be wary because these fraudsters just need to get at your personal information, your sensitive financial information. Similarly, we have these fake government messages. And we've heard about the fake CRA scam. We've heard about the Service Canada scam. And what they're doing right now is saying, you know what? Well, we're going to send out notices to tell people that they can, apply for those government support programs that are available. And again, what do they want? Your personal or sensitive financial information. These are all fake government messages. So just be really careful because you don't know who's contacting you, who's reaching out to you to ask for your information. Then there's the advance fee loan. If you are experiencing financial difficulties during this time, you may be looking for ways to get, a loan. And if someone reaches out to you and say, hey, I can help you get a loan, all you need to do is pay a small fee. It sounds reasonable, right? Because nobody's going to give you money for free. But as soon as the fraudster gets your fee, you know what? They're gone with your money and there is no loan. So these are just some of the, what I'm calling COVID-19 related frauds that we're seeing right now. And another one, it's an investment fraud, is the pump and dump. And usually what the fraudsters do is they take some worthless stock that nobody wants to buy, and they put out some positive news about the stock, about the company. They write some glowing articles, and then they start selling these stocks. So right now, the stocks that they're selling, they're saying are in companies that are providing a service or a product that can help prevent, treat, or cure COVID-19. And what they do, they sell these stocks, and the way the stock market works, the higher the demand for a stock, then the higher the price, because you're driving the price up. So as more and more people buy up these stocks, this fraudster is making more and more money. When all the stocks are sold, remember, this is worthless stock, this is fake news, share price plummets. You're left with worthless stock. It was worthless stock before, and the fraudster disappears. And that's a pump and dump. And again, this has been around for a number of years, but right now they're just saying that they're selling stocks in companies that can do something to help with COVID-19. Another type of fraud that we're seeing is affinity fraud. And this is one where the fraudster targets groups of people that share a common identity or common purpose. If you are interested in, sports, perhaps you belong to a sports club. Or perhaps you identify with a certain religion, so you may be a member of that group. However it works, the fraudster joins the group for the sole purpose of developing your trust and then defrauding you, right? So once they join the group, they attend, the meetings, the events, whatever, gain your trust. And somewhere along the line, they will tell you how they can help you make money, how they can help you invest. And then because it's someone that you trust, you are likely to give them your money. And once you give them your money, they've defrauded the group, this fraudster disappears, and now you have been the target of an affinity fraud. Another one, and you may be very familiar with this one, is the Ponzi scheme. Because, these Ponzi schemes have been around again for a number of years. And a few years ago, we had some very famous Ponzi people in the news. I don't know that I want to be famous for a Ponzi scheme, but hey, that's what these fraudsters do. They run these Ponzi schemes. So how does it work? As a Ponzi artist, I'm promising you much higher returns than what you can get, let's say, by leaving your money in the bank account. So I get people to give me money to invest on their behalf. And I keep on getting people to give me money. Now, the earlier set of people that I had recruited and taken money from are now saying to me, hey, I haven't seen any of my high returns. So what do? The next set of people that I take money from, I take some of their money and I share it with those earlier folks and say, here's your high returns. So basically, I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul. I take money from new investors to pay earlier investors. There is no investment going on. I am using your money to finance my lifestyle. I live a wonderful life. I take, nice vacations when I can. I live in nice homes. I drive nice cars. At some point in time, when the scheme gets too big, me as the fraudster, I'm just going to walk away and let it collapse. Because you know what, I have to keep bringing more and more people into the group. I have to remember who I've paid, who I've not paid. So it becomes very unwieldy for me. And that's a Ponzi scheme. Then there's the double dip or repeat scam. And how does that work? If I've defrauded you, there's a good chance you will not let me defraud you a second time. But 3 out of 10 fraud victims are defrauded more than once. So I've taken your money, you're not going to let me take your money a second time. But you know what? My fellow fraudster out there is in the same boat as me. My fellow fraudster has also defrauded a group of people and he can't go back and defraud them. So we get together and we say, you know what? You've got a list, I've got a list. Why don't we exchange lists? So I give the list to this person and this person gives me their list. So now I have a list of new people to go and defraud, and my fellow fraudster now has your names. So what does he do? He calls you up, says, hey, I'm reaching out to people that were defrauded by Chris. There's a whole group of us. We are getting together to try and see if we can get as much money back as possible and hiring a lawyer. And all we're asking for is contribution towards the legal fees. Now, if you've never told family and friends that you've lost money, or you'd like to get some money back, that is better than no money. You might think, this is very legitimate. So you say, of course, count me in. So I've taken your money. Fellow fraudster has taken your money. You have now been the victim of a double dip. And there are different, scenarios, different stories that they can use to try and get you to participate. I gave a presentation at one point, and the gentleman shared how he was defrauded of several thousands of dollars. And then he told us that, he was offered the opportunity to recoup his initial investment and more if he would just reinvest, put in a few more $1,000s into the scheme. So, fraudsters use different tactics to really try and get at your money. And there are other types of investment scams out there, binary options. Right now, there are no companies registered in Canada to offer binary options. Remember, anyone selling investments, providing you with investment advice, must be registered with the Securities Commission. Because these binary options companies, all they're doing is encouraging you to place an all or nothing bet on how an asset will perform in a limited amount of time. Canadian Securities, all the Canadian Securities Commissions got together and said, this is not investing. They're asking people to place a bet, so we've not registered any companies to offer this type of investment. Offshore, somebody promises, hey, you can save on taxes, move your money outside. Just be careful what you're doing. You're going outside of the company, so it's outside of Canadian jurisdiction, and you don't also want to get into problems with the CRA. Pension, when you join a pension plan or you have your money locked up, maybe these people are saying, hey, we can get you access to your money. Just be careful because there are rules and restrictions, around these pension funds and how you can get access to these monies. Okay, so these people again are promising you, an easy way to get at this money. And then forex, foreign exchange currency trading. Lots of ads. People are promising that it's easy to get involved in these things. What you want to do is, take your time, understand what it is you're getting involved in. Okay, lots of different scams out there. But what I really want to focus on right now is how would you recognize what are some of those warning signs that an opportunity is not such a good opportunity? High pressure sales tactics. Have I got a deal for you, but I need your answer by 1:30? I don't want you to think about the deal. All I want you to do is act right away so that I get at your money. So just be very careful if someone's pressuring you to act right away. There is no deal that is so good that you need to act right on the spot. Another one that we're very familiar with, phone calls and emails and text from someone we don't know. If someone you don't know contacts you and is offering you a wonderful opportunity, your question to yourself would be, I don't know them and they don't know me. Why are they contacting me? How do they benefit? Okay. Now, earlier we talked about, the fact that people are getting contacted from possibly financial institutions or government agencies, and being warned that there may be a problem with their account. If someone's contacting you and saying, there's a problem with your account, there's a problem with your credit card, whatever, hang up and contact the organization directly. You look up the number. You contact that organization directly because you have a relationship with that organization. So they would have your information on file. You contact them and ask, hey, did you contact me? Is there a problem with my account? At least that way you are guaranteed that you are speaking with someone that works for that organization. Similarly, someone, sends you phone calls, emails, texts, and asking you to send money. And I've heard so many scams about these things. You don't know who's contacting you. You don't know who's asking you to send money. Just be very careful, okay? Because, these fraudsters are out there to try and get you at your money. So they either want your personal information, some sensitive financial information, or they want you to send cash. So just be careful when you get these types of requests. Another warning sign is free incentives. I love getting free stuff. I think freebies are great. But just be careful. If someone's, offering you something free, likely they want something in return. So I would be very wary, okay? Then there's these people who are promising you high or guaranteed returns with little to no risk. Well, if you invest, the higher risk the investment, the likelihood you could make higher returns. But remember, higher risk the investment, likelihood, higher returns. So likelihood, you could also lose everything. So promises of higher guaranteed returns with little to no risk, that is now how the industry works. Okay, so just be very wary somebody coming up and promising you that. Or somebody is encouraging you to recruit family and friends, and you don't know what you're getting into. So do you really want to recruit family and friends? Unregistered business or individual. Remember, we are a regulator. We regulate everyone who's working in the industry. So if somebody is selling you an investment, you want to make sure that that business, that individual is registered with the Securities Commission. And I will show you how to check registration in a couple of minutes. Next one is suggest falsifying financial information. There are different ways that this example can happen. One of those is, there are certain investments where investors have to have a certain financial net worth. And what people might say is, hey, we can get you into that. And when you're filling out the form, just put down this information. So again, really, it's not so much the financial information, it's the fact that this person is giving you bad advice. They're telling you to falsify financial information. And you don't really want to work with someone or take advice from someone that is giving you bad advice, because you don't know what you're getting into. Okay. And then there's the tax avoidance strategy. There are plans out there that can help you minimize the amount of taxes you pay, that can help you be more tax efficient. But there are no plans out there to help you avoid paying taxes. So just be wary, because you don't want to get into problems with the CRA. And then if I say to you, hey, I have a hot scoop, I have inside information for you, just be very careful, because my providing you with a hot tip, hot scoop, insider information is illegal. Your acting on that information is also illegal. Okay, so what do we want you to do? We want you to be skeptical. Okay, question these unsolicited opportunities that you may get via phone or online or from acquaintances. Get a second opinion. Before you invest, speak with a registered advisor, a lawyer, or an accountant. Take the time you need. Don't let anyone pressure you into acting right on the spot. Okay? Do your homework. If it's related to an investment, make sure you understand how it works, the risk, and the fees. And if you're not sure, contact the OSC. We're here to help. Our number is 1-877-785-1555. Now, I mentioned that it's really important that if you're taking investment advice, investment recommendations, someone selling you an investment, to check registration. So how would you check registration of that individual? You can contact us, call us, 1-877-785-1555, or you can go online. We have a website, checkbeforeyouinvest.ca, and that is checkbeforeyouinvest.ca, and that takes you to a national database. So anyone that's registered in the industry in Canada, their name's going to this database, and you can check their registration category, which tells you what services and products that person is registered to provide you. Okay, so it's really important. I mean, you're working with someone who's helping you manage your finances. You're looking to purchase investments. You want to make sure you're dealing with someone who's qualified. Okay. Now, what do you do if you suspect a scam? Report it. By reporting it, you may be preventing someone else from becoming the victim of a scam. So who do you report it to? You can report it to us, the Ontario Securities Commission. You can contact your local police. You can also report it to another government agency, the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre. We all communicate, we all share information. So it's important to report it. If you want to report it to us, it's 1-877-785-1555. If you would like to report it to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre, their number is 1-888-495-8501, or you can always contact your local police. So I've shared a lot of information with you on frauds and scams, some of the ones that are happening right now, what are some of those warning signs, and what you can do to protect yourself from becoming the victim of a fraud. This part of the presentation, I'm going to focus a little bit on, working with that financial representative. What are some of those things you should be thinking about when you're speaking with your advisor, your financial representative? When you met with this person, they got to know you, understood your goals, your financial situation, your time frame, and your risk tolerance. And this registered individual, would make suitable investment recommendations for you. And they're registered, and the recommendations they're making on these investment products, they would understand how these products work, how risky they are, and they would be able to explain how this product would help you meet your goals. And then they would also tell you how they're paid. We're Canadians, we're very polite. We don't really talk too much about money. It's a very personal topic. And sometimes, we might not ask that question. How are you being paid? Financial representatives can be compensated in different ways. Sometimes they receive a salary. Sometimes they could receive a commission for every product they sell. Sometimes it could be a fee, or maybe it's a combination of those ways. Okay, this person is working for you, so it's in your best interest to ask questions, right? Care about your investments. Ask questions before you invest. Understand your risk tolerance. And what do I mean by risk tolerance? Well, what's your financial ability to take on higher risk? Remember, the riskier the investment, the likelihood you could make higher returns. So what's your financial ability to take on higher risk? Because we would all like to make higher returns, I would think. But maybe our financial situation is such that, that might not be such a good idea. And internally, how do you process risk? Are you the type who would be able to sleep at night if you invest in something that's highly volatile in price? And what do I mean by that? Let's say you bought something on the stock market, you bought a stock, and this stock is volatile and that the price goes up and down like a yo-yo. So every day it changes. Would you be able to sleep at night if you bought it at one price and the price dropped? Would you be able to sleep at night? You're investing for your financial well-being. So understand your risk tolerance. The other thing is, one of the things you would get and receive when you're investing is, confirmation slips and statements. Hopefully when you get these slips and statements, you are reviewing them. And you're reviewing them as soon as you get them. Because, when you review them, if you notice that there's a problem, you can contact your advisor, you can contact the firm and get that problem rectified right away. If you take these slips, these statements, and you file them away, and then maybe you think to look at them 6 months later, you might have forgotten what you discussed, what you agreed to do with your financial representative. And then you have to go back and look for notes and check your memory. So it's really important to review these types of information as soon as you get them. And I say this, we're talking about investments, but really this applies to, things like your credit card statements, any bills you get, because you want to be able to fix any problems right away. Then the other one is always, ensure that you regularly communicate with your advisor, because this person is there to help you, right? So one of the stats I shared was that, people are experiencing increased stress right now related to watching their investments and managing their finances. 25% of people did not reach out to their advisors. If you're experiencing increased stress related to your investments in your portfolio and your financial situation, this person is there to help you. So, reach out, speak with them, update them on what's happening with your financial situation. They are there to help you meet your goals, okay? So before you invest, person is helping you, making investment recommendations. Before you invest, certain things to think about. If I am recommending that you purchase investments, there's some questions you should be asking if I make recommendations. How does this product work? How will it help me meet my goals? What if I need my money back? There are so many different investment products out there, and they are all structured in different ways. And sometimes you may need to hold a product for a certain period of time before you are able to sell it without any penalties. So it's important to understand how these investment works and how risky they are, when you can get money back, if there are any restrictions. Okay, so ask questions before you buy any investments. I mentioned how important it is to review your statements. You will also get annual statements. When you invest, you will get an annual statement on how your investments have performed over the past few years. You'll also get a statement on charges and compensation related to service. These two annual reports are really good reports because it tells you, how your portfolio has performed. You can take these with you or have them with you when you sit down and have a meeting with your advisor and review your portfolio's performance and talk about whether or not, you need to make any changes. Is everything good? And similarly, you look at the fees that you're paying related to compensation. Okay, so useful tools to help you when discussing things with your advisor. So how do you know that advisor is doing a good job for you? Well, you look at your annual report on performance. You can also compare performance to appropriate benchmarks, and your advisor can help you do that. If you invest in stocks, how has your portfolio performed compared to a stock index? You want to match apples to apples or compare apples to apples. Are they following the same trajectory? Okay. Is your advisor available? Are they providing you with advice? Are they explaining things to you? Okay, so you have to then decide if you're happy with that relationship. But maybe you're thinking, you know what, maybe there's a problem. So what are some of the signs that there may be a problem? Maybe there's a breakdown in communication. There's little or no communication. Maybe, you know what, this person is making investment recommendations that don't seem to match your goals. Remember, one of the questions I said is, if somebody's recommending investments, your question should be, well, how is this investment going to help me meet my goals? Or maybe when you're looking at your statement, you know what, you're seeing these, frequent or unusual trades, things you don't recall agreeing to. These may all be signs of a problem. So what do? Like anything, if you have a problem, you go back to your manager, to your advisor and their manager, and you have a discussion. And maybe that's all you need, is to have a discussion. Hey, here's an issue. You come to a resolution, issue resolved, problem solved. But then you think to yourself, no, problem's not solved. What do I do? Now you can put your complaint in writing and send it to the firms. Firms will investigate and get back to you. They do that, problem solved. What if that doesn't work? You have a couple options. You can contact the Ombudsman for Banking Services and Investments. This is a third-party organization that will provide a free and independent review of your case. Or you can also contact the Investor Protection Clinic. This is a free clinic that can help investors who felt that they have been harmed. Okay, so you have a couple options. All else fails, you can always contact the OSC. You said, gosh, what, I was listening to a presentation and they were saying, what to do with the complaint. I'm not sure. Call us. We will help you. Our number is 1-877-785-1555. So I've shared a lot of information on frauds and scams. Some of those things you should be thinking about when you are working with your financial representative, that advisor. Where else would you go to get more information? You can go to our website. GetSmarterAboutMoney.ca is an OSC website. It provides unbiased financial information and tools. We're not here to sell you a product or service. We just want to give you good information. We know that people are very concerned about their investments and their money during this period. So we've actually created a COVID-19 Annual Money Hub on our website. We also include in that section on the site, important financial dates and information. So lots of information on there about investing and managing your money. We've also seen that people are very interested in in information related to estate planning, because they're now thinking, what if I'm not able to manage my affairs? Do I have the right documentation in place so someone can step in and, look after my finances if necessary, all that good stuff. So you can go on our website. We have a whole section on wills and estate planning. The other thing I want to point out, on our website, we have a great form. It's a personal information inventory form. And what is that? You've got your estate planning documents all in place, and this form is one where you would put down those important documents where they are. But you would also include things like, who are all those professionals that you deal with? Who are all those medical professionals, financial professionals, legal professionals? You would also include things like your social media accounts. If someone needed access to your contact list, and that is on your phone, which is password protected, would someone know how to get into your phone if you weren't able to get access to your account? So this is a really great form. You can go on our website, getsmarteraboutmoney.ca, and download the personal information inventory form. What you would do, you'd fill out all that information on the form, put in a safe spot, and share it with someone that you know. Hey, I've documented, where all my important information is, all my passwords, and I've got it on this form in X place so that if someone needed to access information on your behalf, that information is readily available. We have lots of other resources. We've got new resource that we recently launched was a cash flow worksheet or a cash flow tool. We've also got, and this one's really cool, I think, something on income taxes and how it works. So lots of tools on the website, but if you're interested in learning more about the different types of frauds that are out there, I have a lot of information on fraud. And certainly some of you may be also thinking about investment products. I have a lot of information on different investment products. I had somebody ask me, what was a Bitcoin? We have a whole section on crypto assets because a Bitcoin is one example of a crypto asset. So I have a whole section on crypto assets on our website and lots of other information to help you there. We live in a very multicultural society, so we actually have resources in other languages. We have a microsite called investingintroduction.ca, and that is available in 22 languages. So on that site, we have information on investing, frauds and scams, growing older in Canada. So if you have friends and family that may need this information in another language, certainly you can point them to Investing Introduction. And then, I've shared so much information with you. One of the ways to keep in touch, to get updates on timely topics, new resources, you can also get investor warnings. If we know somebody is doing harm, we put out information on our website about that. But you can also get that in our e-newsletter. So you can sign up for our e-newsletter, investor news. Just go to our website, getsmarteraboutmoney.ca, to get investor news, and you can get information on timely topics, new resources, and lots of other info. Or maybe you're active in social media. You can follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter account is @smarter_money. We also have a Facebook page @getsmarteraboutmoney. And then we have a lot of videos on our YouTube channel. So maybe you're thinking about, I want to learn more about the tax-free savings account. We have a tax-free savings account video. You can go on there and learn about the video. Or maybe you want to see some of these fraud alert videos that we have. You can go on YouTube on Get Smarter About Money to look at these different videos. All else fails, you're not sure who to contact, you're not sure what to do, you have a question, call us. Our number is 1-877-785-1555. You can also go on our website. Everything I've talked about and much more information is available on getsmarteraboutmoney.ca. And then there's also our corporate site if you want to learn a little bit more about the OSC, how we're structured, the different branches, our annual report. Go on our website, osc.gov.on.ca. Now I've talked a lot, so now this is time where I stop talking and I take questions if you have any questions.
Thanks so much, Chris. So yes, if you have a question that you'd like to ask Chris, feel free to just type in your question in the chat box and we'll read it out loud and get you an answer as best we can. Chris, I have a question. So the resources on the that you've talked about, are they available bilingually or are they translated into different languages? Because I know.
Well, our website is bilingual. It is English and French, and then some of the content is also available in other languages. Not all of it, and that would be accessible on investingintroduction.ca.
Perfect. And I know that you'd mentioned that you'd be willing to send me a list with at least all of the links for the wonderful references and resources that you talked about in your presentation today. So once Chris sends that to me, I will ask someone from the Toronto Council on Aging to post it on our website under resources. So again, you can just make sure that you can access all these great, pieces of information that Chris has mentioned today. I do want to thank you. I know that your time is quite busy, so thank you so much for taking the time to join us. And thank you to everyone else who took the time out to join us. If you want to learn more about our upcoming New Horizons webinar series, make sure that you just check out the Toronto Council on Aging website. We will have details for our next session. That'll be on November 25th. Everybody have a great afternoon.
Thank you. Bye.